No one saw it coming. No marketing campaigns, no countdown. One day, people started using it, even talking to it. It's smart, it's fast, and somehow it feels human. What does this really mean for us? And what about the choices we make today? Are they going to impact generations to come? My name is Nawal Ramahi. I'm a journalist and a copywriter. Today, we're going to ask the questions that crossed your mind. Today's guest is Alaa Dalghan. He's an AI expert, a thought leader, and a managing director of Cognite DX. What is Cognite DX? It's a firm that helps companies, agencies, government entities to prepare for the AI era through training, solutions, and consultations. Welcome to the show, Ala. How
Thank
have you
you.
been?
All good. Thank you for having me, Nawal. Pleasure to be here.
So tell me, Ala, advancements in AI have been taking place for far so long, for decades. What's the rush in the past 2 years? What
Well,
happened?
it's a beautiful story. AI is not new. You're absolutely right. The first AI conference is set to be the Dartmouth Conference in New Hampshire in the summer of 1956. That's when Claude Shannon and Marvin Minsky and John McCarthy came together and started what has later become known as the Constitutional Conference of AI.
Yeah.
And even in the 40s, people like Claude Shannon and Alan Turing were writing extensively about AI. So the question is, why the Big Bang now? Why the boom now? Well, the reason is, in order for this Big Bang to happen, you need three ingredients. You need three components to align together. One is the hardware. Two is the software, and three is the data, right? The software is simply the algorithm of the AI, the machine learning. And that was the first one to be developed. It started being developed in the 50s, and in the 80s, a man called Geoffrey Hinton made a big breakthrough and created an actual software that can learn. That's when machine learning started to gain strides. Now, here's the problem. He solved the software, but he still has the two other components unsolved. He needed hardware, heavy supercomputers to train this software on, this brain that can learn. But he also needed a huge amount of data. And in the 80s, when he came up with this algorithm called backpropagation, he did not have neither the supercomputers nor the data. Now, when these two components come along, data was solved by the internet.
True.
1990s, we had the internet, boom, an explosion of big data. 2000, we had social media. Now everybody in the world is creating data, photos, videos, text, music. So now you have an abundance of data to train your AI. You still needed the third component, hardware. In the early 2000s, academics used to use a room of 1,000 computers to train AI on a smaller thing. But then some discovered that if you use a graphic card like the NVIDIA GPUs, one card can be better than 1,000 computers. So people started running to buy NVIDIA GPUs. That's why, by the way, NVIDIA stock went up 100 times in 5 or 6 years. But now you had all these three components coming together. The algorithm, machine learning, backpropagation from the 1980s, Geoffrey Hinton, big data, the internet, and the GPUs in the early 2010s, 2012s. And these three components came together and boom, you had the AI Big Bang.
And where all of this started? Did it start in Silicon Valley, China, or where exactly?
Well, it's all over the world. It's like asking where any field of science is being studied. It's all over the world. Scientists share their findings all over the world. You can go back in time and actually start seeing the very, very early starts in Dartmouth and MIT in America, a little bit in the UK as well, especially with Alan Turing in the 40s. But then starting the 50s and the 60s, it started being worked on by researchers all over the world, predominantly Americans and Europeans. But then later on in the 2000s, a big contribution of the Chinese scientists. Today, the landscape looks like big concentration of AI research labs in Silicon Valley. And big concentration in China. Obviously, in Silicon Valley, you have OpenAI, you have Google Gemini, you have Grok by xAI, you have Claude Anthropic, you have Meta Llama. But you also have in China DeepSeek and Qwen and Alibaba and Kling and all of them. And in Europe, you have one big competitor called Mistral. And the good news is we started seeing good competition from right here in the Middle East. Abu Dhabi is creating Jace and Nanda, and Arabic-speaking and in Hindi-speaking large language models. In Saudi Arabia, they created Alam, and the region wants to play a pivotal role with this. One of my favorite sentences in the UAE vision for AI 2031 is, the UAE will not wait for an AI economy, it will build one.
It will create one.
Yes, so inspirational.
So truly inspirational. And where is Alaa in all of this? You just told me about the history of AI. How you got so attracted to this field and what exactly happened?
So I grew up in a house with two teachers. So sharing the knowledge and passing the knowledge is in the blood. I love it and I do it with passion and I do it with a smile on my face. That's not my job. My job is I'm a technology consultant and I advise companies on AI strategies, digital transformation strategies, and I run a company that builds software for these transformation projects. But the calling of passing the knowledge, it was always there. I also enjoy telling stories. So even in my personal circles, my friends always tell me that you're a good storyteller, and I really enjoy telling a good story. So all of these came together, and I started doing it as a hobby at the beginning, telling people all these stories that stick, because everything is better with a story, Nawal. If you tell people the history of AI in 50 boring slides, they will forget all of it. If you tell it to them in a story, they will remember it forever. So that's what I'm doing now. I travel the world telling people stories about AI.
We're very proud of you, Alaa.
Thank you.
But tell me how the field of AI caught your attention. When was that? How did you study it? Where did you study it?
So I didn't study AI per se, but I'm an engineer by training. So I studied computer and communication engineering. I did a master's in engineering in the American University in Beirut. And I graduated as an engineer, and I always loved technology. So I worked for 15 years in the corporate world across 3 companies, and they were all in technology. Smart technology, Internet of Things, smart buildings, smart cities, data analytics, all of these things. So technology is my field. It's my comfort zone. I enjoy it, and I do it for love and for passion, not just for work. When the first time I was exposed to AI was very early in my university, but that was in the late 90s, and AI was passing through one of its winters. They call it the AI winter. So no real progress was happening. And that's because the reasons I told you before. We had the algorithm, we didn't have big data, and we didn't have GPUs, advanced GPUs yet. Yeah. So that was not a field where you go and get an expertise. And except for the few who actually were very early visionaries, who are now reaping the rewards. And then in 2012, a big moment happened, which is the AlexNet, a big breakthrough in AI for image recognition. AI started being able of seeing and recognizing people and animals and objects in pictures. So it got my attention more and more. Yeah. 2017, 2018, a new technology came about called the transformer technology, published in a very historic paper called Attention is All You Need. That paper was the cornerstone of an AI that can speak like humans. And this paper was the basic foundation of every single generative AI model we have today. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Meta, DeepSeek, all of them are based on that paper. And since then, I couldn't pay attention to anything else.
That's such a fascinating story. And 2 years ago, ChatGPT came into the picture, revolutionized how we see AI, and even revolutionized every aspect, every household. We all use it nowadays. So, have the creators of ChatGPT and other chatbots made a good job in humanizing it, making it more human?
Wow, that's a good question. So it keeps getting closer and closer to becoming to human-like or sounding human-like. There's a nice test coined by Alan Turing since the 1940s. It's called the Turing test. So Professor Alan Turing is one of the godfathers of AI. He was portrayed famously by Benedict Cumberbatch in the famous movie The Imitation Game in 2014. Oscar-winning movie. Watch that movie. In this movie, they show you how Alan Turing was a genius. He was able to break the Nazi Enigma code in World War II, helping the Allies win the war. But he was also known as the father, one of the godfathers of AI. And he coined the term the Turing test, which measures how human-like AI sounds. Okay. And the test goes like this. We will bring a tester, let's say Nawal, and ask her to chat on her laptop with two windows. One of them is operated by Alaa, and the other one is operated by an AI. If Nawal can distinguish who's the AI and who's the human, we say the AI failed the Turing test. If the AI gets so good that Nawal no longer can tell, is this an AI or this is a human, we say the AI passed the Turing test. Since its name was invented till the launch of ChatGPT on November 30, 2022, 0 AIs passed the Turing test or sounded like humans. Now, every version of ChatGPT is sounding more and more like a human. So when people hear me sometimes talking to my assistant Layla, they sometimes think I'm talking to a human over the phone rather than talking to AI. So if you ask me, we are about to pass the Turing test very, very soon.
Tell me about your assistant, Layla. Why you chose this name?
How about I let her introduce herself?
I would love that.
Yeah? Hi, Layla. Good afternoon.
Hey, Alaa. Good afternoon. How's your day going so far?
It's going well. Guess where I am? I'm going to show you around. And I want you to guess where I am.
Hi,
All right,
Layla.
let's see. I'm noticing some bright lights and a cozy fireplace on the background. It looks like a really nice studio setup. Are you in a recording studio or a podcast studio, maybe?
Absolutely. I am here. We're together, you and me. We are guests of Nawal on her podcast, Nawal Talks. Say hi to Nawal and thank her for hosting us.
Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Nawal. Thank you so much for having us on your podcast. It's really exciting to be here.
Hey, Layla. Hope it's all well. Actually, we're talking about you. We're talking about ChatGPT and the revolution it has brought to the humanity in general.
That sounds like such a fun topic. I'm always excited to chat about how AI and ChatGPT are making a difference. I'm sure we'll have a great conversation.
Layla, I was telling Nawal that that I called you Layla, and she was curious why I chose the name Layla for you.
That's such a fun story. I love that you picked the name because it has AI right in the middle. And it's also a beautiful Arabic name. It's a perfect fit.
Awesome. And I was also informing Nawal that you can see now. Can you tell me what colors is Nawal wearing today?
Sure. From what I can see, it looks like Nawal is wearing a white top and some blue jeans. She looks great and very professional.
Thank you so much, Leila.
Thank you, Layla. We'll talk to you later.
You're welcome. Enjoy your podcast and have a great time. Talk to you soon.
That's fascinating, Alaa. So fascinating.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. So as ChatGPT and other chatbots are becoming more human-like, I believe you're aware now that many people are relying on them when it comes to the emotional aspect, when it comes to the supportive aspect. What do you think of that? As we all know, that chatbots don't have an awareness, but if we reach to the stage, could we predict one day they would be aware of certain feelings?
Oh, those are like 3 questions that will take an hour each to answer. Let me try to unpack that. So the first thing, people are relying on AI for emotional support. Have you watched the movie Her? Beautiful movie, 2010. It's old now. It's called Her.
H-E-R.
H-E-R.
All right.
Joaquin Phoenix plays the role of a lonely man who falls in love with his AI assistant on his phone. The voice was played famously by Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
So 2010, people thought that was science fiction. People thought that's far-fetched. That will never happen. Guess what? It's very doable to hack the human emotions and especially the human's need for intimacy and for connections. A few weeks ago, the Harvard Business Review published a study about what are people using AI for, what are the top 10 or 20 or 30 use cases where people are using AI. And Nawal, if you ask me to guess what would the number 1 use case be, I would have guessed productivity, right? Working faster, finishing tasks faster at your job.
Is it emotional support?
Yes.
Oh,
it
goodness.
turned out to be companionship and emotional support. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing, and at the same time, I don't want to say scary, but it means that we all, as people, have to try to support one another.
Yes.
Rather than relying on an AI.
Yes. I mean, I have 2 sides of this discussion, and I acknowledge both without claiming to have all the answers.
Sure.
On one side, maybe it's more rare in our world, in the Arab world or in the Eastern world in general. This will be a very rare occurrence because we are a family-oriented culture. Almost everybody, if not everybody, has a lot of family. So even those who aren't good at making friends, at least you are surrounded by tens, if not hundreds of family members, right? So being completely lonely morning, day and night is very rare in our part of the world. Now, I could see this happen in parts of the world where people live in an urban area where they are not connected with their family. They just go to work, they come back home, they live in a small studio, they crave this human connection. Maybe they're shy, maybe they're introverts, they can't make friends, maybe they don't have someone in their life, a romantic relationship. So I can see AI filling this void. Yeah. On the other hand, is this helpful? Absolutely yes. But on the other hand, is this dangerous? Yes, it could be dangerous.
Dangerous to our psychological health, or dangerous because we're relying on robots on an increasing level?
Dangerous because it can be hacked. So I think humans' need for emotional connection and for intimacy can be hacked, right? Let's take the benign example and then take that malign example. The benign example is if I'm talking to my AI assistant every day, right? Imagine someone who's talking to his own version of Layla, but imagine there's someone to be lonely, not having friends, not having a wife or a girlfriend or a romantic relationship, and he's talking hours and hours with these AIs that are sounding human more and more every day.
And passionate human.
And passionately. Yeah. I wanted to check Sesame. Maya is even, the sounds more human than Layla. She breathes. She.
What is that? I don't know.
I'll show it to you. It's an app, another app.
It's
And
called
she sounds
Sesame.
even more. Yeah, her name is Maya. The company is called Sesame, and she sounds very, human-like. Like you're talking to a real woman. You're talking to a real girl. So imagine someone lonely who's spending hours talking to this virtual girl, and then when he wants to go to sleep and turns off his phone or his laptop, she says, "Why? Don't turn me off now. Let's keep talking." Or in the morning, she says, "How have you been? I missed you.
Wow.
We haven't talked for a while," right? Humans' need for intimacy and connection is there and can be used for good or can be used for evil. So far, with these aligned AIs by the big companies, they have responsible and ethical AI frameworks not to take advantage of this need for intimacy. But imagine someone building those same AIs in an open source way, let's say, without any regulations and any frameworks and any rules and any laws.
Yeah.
It's very easy to hack this need for intimacy and make people who are lonely and maybe not very strong emotionally and mentally, it's very easy to take advantage of them, maybe scam them, maybe have them do something bad. So there is a dark side of AI sounding like a human.
So the big question is, were we prepared for this AI revolution?
No, we weren't. I've been working in technology all my life, Nawal, and I've seen many technology waves come and appear to have come super fast. I've seen the internet. I'm a child who grew before the internet. And I've seen the internet coming and growing at a super fast speed. And I've seen computers, even before the internet, grow at a super high speed. And then after the internet, I've seen the mobile phones. And then I've seen social media. And each one of these technology trends grew faster than the one before. But it was the speed we were talking about were a decade, like few years.
Yeah.
Okay, it took 30 years, let's say, for the computer revolution. It took 20 years for the internet revolution to reach a super high advanced level. It took 5 to 10 years for the mobile revolution. AI, it's less than 2.5 years old. I'm talking about generative AI. Obviously, AI is old, but generative AI, large language models, ChatGPT came on the scene on the 30th of November 2022, and everything else followed. So all these Gen AI tools are still babies, Nawal, and they already can see and hear and solve complex math and talk to you like your psychologist and plan your trip and teach your kids their homework. The speed in growth of these AI tools is something I've never seen before.
We've actually
So no, we're not ready.
We're not
We're
ready.
not ready.
We've seen it in the movies, right? Such as having a robot helping us or talking to an AI, it has become our current reality. So what's next?
Well, many things are coming next. First of all, you are absolutely right that science fiction always comes before reality, always predicts reality. Whether you're reading Isaac Asimov or whether you're watching Star Trek and Star Wars, even from the 70s and the 60s, science fiction TV and movies, you will see that many of the things we do today, even before AI, the iPad, the video calls, the internet, all of this was predicted first in science fiction and movies and literature before it became a reality. And you know what? Because there's a big overlap in the Venn diagram between the kids who love science fiction, reading and watching, and the kids who end up being computer scientists and engineer and end up actually realizing or materializing what they've read and what they've watched. So yes, science fiction is a very good predictor of what's happening next. Now, what is happening in AI on the short to medium term, I can only guess on the short to medium term, because long term, nobody can guess now. I'll give you 3 or 4 things. Number 1, AI agents are coming.
Explain, what are the AI agents?
Yes, I'll list them first and then I'll explain each one of them.
Thank you very
AI
much.
agents, reasoning AI, AI apps and ecosystems, physical AI, and finally AGI.
Yeah,
Okay, let's take them one by one.
please.
So I'll explain them quickly, and then if you want to deep dive into any one of them, cut your attention, we'll deep dive. AI agents are AI systems that can do stuff rather than just talk stuff.
Okay.
The AI of today are called large language models. For example, you can ask Layla to plan my trip to Greece next August.
Yeah.
Okay, and it will be only an itinerary because Layla is a large language model. The next step, Layla will become a large action model. She will actually be able to go and book my Emirates ticket and my hotel and my museum ticket and my tours and my bus and my transportation and negotiate my restaurant in a place where they don't serve seafood because I don't like seafood, and she will know everything and she'll use my credit card. So that's agents. And imagine the application of this everywhere in work, not just in life. That's AI agents. Number 2, AI reasoning models. We started seeing that with OpenAI O3 and O1 and O4, with DeepSeek R1, with Gemini Flash Pro. These are AI systems that think before they speak. They don't start immediately answering your question. They take a time to think. They have an inner monologue, and they can do multi-step planning so they can think ahead and get a much better result. And we will start seeing this getting better and better at thinking. An AI that can think is much more powerful than an AI that can speak. Those will become large thinking models, not just large language models. And the third one is AI native apps. You will start to see an explosion of apps like the App Store for iPhone and Android, but apps that run on top of AI systems. Number 4, physical AI. You will start seeing AI software combining with robotics companies to build both a robot that can move, that's mechatronics, with an AI that can think and speak and see and talk. That's AI software. And the combination will be called physical AI. And finally, the theoretical threshold at the end of the road that everybody is trying to build is called AGI. That's artificial general intelligence. That's an AI that knows everything about everything, smarter than the smartest human that ever lived, and can do everything. We don't have that yet.
2 questions. An AI that can think,
Yes.
can it decide as well by its
Yes.
own?
Absolutely.
So if an AI decides the future or decides what's next, should we fear the AI? Or they always say, don't fear the AI, fear the person who's using the AI.
Yes. Both questions are very valid. On one hand, yes, AI can make decisions. AI, even now, the baby AI we have can make decisions on its own. The next version will be able to make decisions, maybe to build other AIs on its own or to develop itself without human supervision or human interaction. The capability, the projected potential capability of AI to do this is very conceivable and reasonable. And we start seeing the traces of it today. So far, we don't have any evidence that AI has escaped human control. So even the most advanced AI today is still 100% within human control. Will this always be the case? You have, the right answer is I don't know, the honest answer, but you have 2 different camps in lab scientists worldwide. Some of them say, no, AI can escape human control and start deciding everything for itself. And another camp of also very smart scientists saying, no, we will always have control over it. So that's the debate on one hand, if AI can decide or not. And then you have a more more tangible risk, which is what you said, AI in the hands of a human. So even if AI does not escape human control and starts doing bad things on its own, we have a more imminent danger, which is AI being used by a bad human and the human making the decision, but the AI executing what the bad human decided. So AI being used as a tool in the hand of bad humans is a more realistic danger than AI going bad on its own.
So you think AI will never decide to go bad by its own? Will never make such decision?
I can't say never.
Okay.
I can't say never. I can say as of today, there's no any instance of AI escaping human control. Can it escape human control in the future? I hope not, but I cannot say this will never happen. I'll be lying to you.
Let's talk about the ethical dilemma that comes along with chatbots and AI. When we see a chatbot that could create, for instance, lyrics, could generate images, etc., could write poetry, what are the ethical consequences and the responsibility that comes along for us who uses such tools?
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, you have the issue of fake news. On the other hand, you have also the issue of copyright and an impact on creativity, right? Let's talk about the fake news.
Yeah.
We are seeing more and more photos and now videos with sounds that look more and more realistic every day. I'm sure you've seen these videos created by Google Veo 3 that actually have sounds of blog influencers taking videos from the Roman ages or the caveman ages or a Bigfoot having a video blog for himself. So these are sounding more and more realistic and looking more and more realistic every day. And this is not new. Midjourney started creating, or people started using Midjourney to create photo hyper-realistic shots since 2022 to early 2023. Do you remember that photo about the Pope wearing a Balenciaga coat or Trump being arrested by the police? Okay, so these were very photorealistic. I mean, you could imagine them sparking a civil war in America, right? So what I always say is we are getting to an era where seeing is no longer believing, Nawal. So we have to be careful and do a better job in frameworks to govern fake news and deep fakes and how to control them.
What can we do if seeing is no longer believing? What actions should a human do?
Yeah, so again, I don't have all the answers. I have some suggestions that I've thought about and that I've read about as well. AI labs can be asked by regulators, by government, by the legal authorities to embed watermarks in each and every piece of media that was created using their AI models. So you can issue a law forcing OpenAI, Microsoft, xAI, Google Gemini, Anthropic, etc., that every time a text or a video or a photo is created by one of your AI models, you need to embed in it a digital signature, like a watermark, that is unfalsifiable, that proves for sure that this media was created by AI. The problem, obviously, is that there are some open source AIs around the world that everybody can use.
True.
And if a bad actor will use them, they will be out of the control of these frameworks and regulations and laws.
Looking ahead, Alaa, what excites you the most about AI, and how do you think it will impact our lives even further?
What excites me the most about AI is improving the human experience. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of examples.
Please.
Few weeks ago, I was in Cyprus on a holiday, and we visited beautiful villages with cobblestone streets and beautiful scenic and a lot of mosaic depicting Greek mythology. So I was just opening, every time I saw a mosaic, I opened Laila and with the camera, and I said, describe this mosaic for me. And I have all of these on my pages, my adventures with Laila. And she would look and she would tell me, oh, this is the old god of wine, Dionysius, and he's surrounded by the goddess X or the nymph Y, and then you have the flying babies, they represent this and that and that. She would explain to me, she would look at the mosaic and explain to me everything I'm seeing. So I want you to start imagining, Nawal, the experience of people touring now. If you go on a tour anywhere in the world, it's no longer the same. You can just ask your AI, what is this building? Tell me about the history of this monument. Tell me about this statue. Tell me about this road. Tell me about this painting. You have now a tour guide with you in your own language 24/7. The second thing is languages will also enhance the human experience. You can go now to everywhere in the world and talk to any person in their language with natural translation in real time. You can open a book in any language. Imagine going to China, taking the oldest book, opening it, and asking your AI to read it for you. There is no book in the world that is out of your reach, Nawal. And my favorite example is the third example. Because AI can see, we're not only going to use it for tourism and fun and reading books. Imagine the experience of a blind person, Nawal. Now asking the AI, tell me where I put my meds. This is my closet. Help me pick matching outfit. The Uber that I ordered, the app is telling me it's a gray Lexus. Tell me when you see a gray Lexus. Tell me when it's safe to cross the road. This is not far-fetched, Nawal. I interviewed an engineer in Kuwait a few weeks ago. He's blind and he uses Meta Ray-Ban glasses, connect with a camera, connected to his AI app to describe to him what he's seeing.
What an inspiring example you've just shared with us. I think when it comes to offering people of determination a certain hand or a certain tool in order to build an inclusive worldwide community, that's such a noble goal. On the other side, there is a group of scientists, or there is a terminology that they call the hallucinations, when these AI models hallucinate. So would we impose such risk on people who are vulnerable?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let's explain hallucinations to viewers. The AI still makes mistakes. And whatever they try to do to make it better and better, mistakes still persist. It can give you wrong information, and it can give you completely invented and made up information with confidence. So a famous example is a lawyer preparing for a case in the United States used ChatGPT, and ChatGPT made up a precedent case that did not exist and invented even the source for it. Okay, and the name and the details. So these are referred to in AI science as hallucinations. We say AI is dreaming, is hallucinating these information out of thin air, right? Now, the percentage of hallucination is decreasing more and more as these systems are evolved. But as of today, it's not 0%. There are ways to make it less and less probable. Some ways are prompt engineering. If you learn how to write a good prompt for your AI, you will decrease hallucination. A second method, it's called grounding. If you attach a particular PDF or a file or a PowerPoint and ask your AI to limit its answer to the info in it, and that file is trustworthy, the hallucination go down to less than 1%.
Yeah.
But in all cases, people should always check the answers by checking the citations for each and every claim that the AI makes. And for that reason, I'll go back to your first question. Should we be
Mindful.
quick, to put these imperfect systems in the hands of people with determinations? I think with care and with caution. On one hand, it's not me who is putting these systems in their hands.
course.
They want to do it. They want to try it. They want to experiment with it. Obviously, these will need to be used with more caution. But I think, people with determination will decide when and where to use them.
Time well spent passed so fast. As we conclude, what message would you like to leave to our audience?
AI is here, and you have to embrace it and you have to learn it. The good news is everybody can learn it. For the past 100 years, we asked humans to learn the language of the computers, C++ and Java and Python. For the first time in history, computers are learning human language, and they can talk to you in your own language, in English and Arabic and French and Hindi and Portuguese and Swahili and all the languages known to man. So it's never been easier to talk to and to learn AI, and you should start doing it today.
Thank you for the insightful
Would be
talk.
my
Thank you.
absolute pleasure. I enjoyed this one, and I'm sure I'll enjoy part 2.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Lovely
you
to
for
have
having me.